Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. You guys, come on in, come on in. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? So, I got a special live video for you guys today. And this one, it involves this lovely person right here, which is my mother. I'm here live with my mother. We're sitting at my house. And we're doing what I like to call a blood pressure intervention. The reason I call it a blood pressure intervention is mainly because she's been dealing with some blood pressure issues the past few years. And unfortunately, she just haven't been able to get it under control for a number of reasons. I've worked with her in the past, probably, I want to say about 2 years ago, where we did some fasting, we did some other educational things. She's been a critical part of my journey as I've been learning and growing and developing in this field. But 2 days ago, 2 days ago, she came over. I took her blood pressure, and the numbers were through the roof. And that's just the best way I can say it. They were through the roof. I'm talking through the roof to the point where I probably should have drove her to the hospital and checked her in and let a doctor evaluate her to see exactly what's going on. That's how high her blood pressure was. I believe it was 201 over 101. Extremely high. And my main concern was, I believe I told her this at the same time. I was like, hey, if your blood pressure stays like this, you're going to have a stroke or some type of cardiovascular event this year if you continue down the same path that you're on. So we really just sat down and had a heart-to-heart, like, hey, this is the time where something needs to happen, something needs to change. We just sat down and just talked about, what needs to take place, because there's no reason for me being who I am and my mother to walk around with these type of blood pressure numbers. She's someone that, throughout my whole life, she's been in tune with her health. She's been the type to always be active in certain type of ways and, following a lot of health and wellness guidelines and things like that. And I know she has an understanding of health and wellness. And, my main thing is that, it's time to actually take some responsibility and be accountable for what you have going on. And excuse me, I'm actually live on Facebook here and Instagram here. So I see my Instagram seems to be flickering back and forth. So for those of you on Instagram and you're tuning in, if you can hear me and see me clearly, just put a 1 or 2 in the chat. That way I can make sure that everything is good and my sound is okay on this side. For Facebook, we look like we're all in a good place as far as the sound and the volume. But as we continue, she knows what to do. She knows and understands a lot about health and wellness. But I think what her problem may lie, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just about being consistent and implementing, the tactics and the strategies that are necessary to help her just overcome and deal with these issues. And one of the best things I can say about her current situation is that she's not on any pharmaceutical medications. She's not on any drugs. And it's just her blood pressure is just seemingly out of control. And this is why we're going to have this blood pressure intervention. That way I can help kind of like, for better choice of words, like, I can just kind of whip her back in shape so she can start just applying these lifestyle tactics and strategies that I talk about each and every day to her own life and start just making those types of changes. Because right now, from me looking at her and her situation, I'm just calling out exactly what it is. I think she's lazy. Sorry, mother. I'm just going to say exactly how I feel, but I apologize for those. I just think that she's lazy. She's in a rut where she just hasn't been motivated enough to just be consistent and make those types of approaches. And me being her son, I'm going to step in and say, hey, mother, let's do this. Let's get these things done. And let's focus on the big picture, which is your overall health. And once we start making these changes, I want you to understand that it's up to you to continue with this process, because I can't want it more than you want it. Only thing that I can do is actually show up, provide some further insights about it, and help you along your way. But right now, we're at a crossroads where it's all about her making a decision to actually do better and get better. And I've decided to document this journey because I want all of the other individuals that are out here in the social media world that follow me, particularly about this blood pressure topic, to have some insights on how lifestyle changes work. And for this part of this intervention, this video right here, I'm going to go through the beginning steps with her in front of you guys, and we're going to document this journey for the next 45 days, live on camera, every aspect of these lifestyle changes, so you guys can see in real time the power of actually making these lifestyle changes, implementing these tactics and strategies into your day-to-day life. And that way you can see how powerful these things are. They're more powerful than taking a pill. They're more powerful than taking any herbs. These are all the factors that directly impact your overall health. When you make lifestyle changes, you focus on your body as a whole. And that's what it's really all about. Focusing on your body as a whole and allowing for your body to get back in alignment to overcome the issues and challenges that you're dealing with. So today we got a few things that are very important for this process. I got her a journal. That way she can document everything and actually be able to take notes about everything that we're going to do, everything that's going to take place throughout this process. She has her journal here. That way she can understand step by step everything that we're trying to accomplish. I have my journal here as well. That way, as I'm going through this process with her, I'm able to make sure that I'm dotting my I's, crossing my T's, going over everything so she can fully understand what these changes consist of. I'm making sure that I know that she has a grasp of all these different things. And on top of that, I need to track our progress because, again, going through this process, we need to set specific goals that we need to reach as we're moving forward. And this is going to be the best way to keep track of those things, documenting the journey. One thing for those of us that are here, I just started a blood pressure group on Facebook. It's a completely free group. You can click on my stories. I have a link that's there that you can sign up, join the blood pressure group, and we'll be continuing to talk about other blood pressure information, just to drop that in there for you guys. But right now, what I'm going to do is, first I need to check this connection on Instagram. My Instagram connection looks like it's bugging right now. Those of you on Instagram, if you can hear me clearly, just let me know that you can hear me and that the sound is okay. If not, I might have to go out and come back in. But it looks like Facebook is live right here. It looks like everyone can hear and see pretty well. But anyways, so right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her blood pressure again live on this video. That way you guys can see where she is, because we're going to be completely transparent through this process. For those of you that know me, I put it all in the air. I'm as transparent as it comes. It doesn't matter what I have going on, my relationships, my blood pressure, my health, my life, whatever I'm doing, I try to be as clear and transparent as I can. That way you guys can really understand, just the angle that I'm taking and coming from with this approach. So right now I have our wrist monitor to check her blood pressure. And that way you guys can see in real time where we're standing at and the approach that we're gonna make. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in this other chair right here. Mom, I want you to slide over just a tad bit, and I'm gonna take her pressure and I'm gonna give you guys an update on the reading that she had. So what we have a standard cuff right here. It's a digital cuff, and just for how can I say this? Just to give you a heads up, this is a cuff for the wrist, and sometimes the cuff that you use for the wrist can give you a higher reading than normal, mainly because the arteries and the blood vessels are closer to the skin and they're a little more narrow. So I'm using the wrist cuff mainly because if you look, her arms are a lot bigger than normal for the regular blood pressure cuff. It becomes too much pressure to actually go on top, so we're going to actually use the wrist cuff this time around. But just a heads up, typically when you do use the wrist cuff, the blood pressure tends to be a little bit more elevated than normal. The reading is going to be a little higher, but it will give you an understanding of where you're at and where you need to go. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over, take a quick reading for her, and then I'm going to share it with you guys so you can understand where you're at. Okay. So I want you to give me this one first. We're gonna rotate between both sides, but give me this one first. And we're gonna go right on. I'm struggling with the cup. Hold on real quick. Okay, here we go. You can turn your arm around. And you can relax. So we're just taking the reading on her wrist, her forearm area. That way we can just get a understanding of where she's at. Because again, last time we took this reading for her, the blood pressure was definitely elevated to the point where it was of major concern. And right now I'm taking it for her in front of you guys. That way we can document the journey and actually start to have and implement some accountability on her behalf. That way she can just understand the importance of this issue. Now, as I move over, I'm going to come closer. We can see this reading here. It's 219 over 124. 219 over 124. This is a severely elevated blood pressure reading. And we're going to do the other side just to make sure again. This 219 over 124. I don't know if you can see it clearly. It looks like it's backwards right there. 219 over 124. We took it 2 days ago. It was 201 over 145 and things like that. Now, just for you to understand, again, when you're using the cuff, this wrist cuff, it tends to be a little bit higher than normal. So give or take, it may be a little bit lower than what it is, but still, it should be nowhere near this number. Can you take a picture of this with your phone just so you can have this for your own record, and that we can we can save it for later documentation? It looked like it disappeared. It's fine. We'll get it. So it's 219 over 124. Now, mind you, 2 years ago when I took her blood pressure, 2 years ago when I took her blood pressure and we did some fasting and some cleansing and things like that, her blood pressure was again around the same area, 180 over 145, somewhere sky high through the roof. And it's like, yo, mom, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, and she was in a position where she just not getting any exercise, not getting any sunlight, cooped up in the house, not eating properly, even though she wasn't necessarily eating bad, but she just wasn't taking care of herself. Like, she just wasn't doing the things that she needed to do. And this go around, I took her blood pressure again randomly. I just kind of walked up on him like, hey, let's take your blood pressure. And she was like, oh gosh, here we go again. And I did it because I feel like I have a sense of responsibility to make sure that, I'm checking these things for her. But right now, as you can see, it's 219 over 124. Severely elevated. Anything that looks like this, you need to go to the hospital right now. Like, it's as simple as that. Go, if your blood pressure looks anything like this, go to the hospital. Now, mind you, Mom, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say about 3 months ago, she had an episode. She had an episode with her eyes, and she was dealing with floaters and a few other issues with her vision. And she ended up going to an eye doctor to get it checked out. Surprisingly, the eye doctor didn't tell her, didn't mention anything about, her blood pressure or anything there. He just briefly went over whatever issue that she was having. You care to elaborate on what the eye doctor told you?
Pretty much everything was fine.
Okay.
I mean, there's no problem with the sight or anything.
Right. So basically, she said the eye doctor didn't tell her anything. Just it wasn't anything wrong with her sight, but you can clearly see some damage that was going on in your left eye or your right eye.
That was that left.
Yeah, it was. You could clearly see some damage that was happening in her left eye. And you can see the floaters in there. She was to the point where she was kind of hiding it from it. I didn't even see it. My little sister was like, go look at your mother, see what's wrong with her eye. and you need to talk to her. Because I didn't see it. I'm so busy running around a lot of times that I don't really pay attention to a lot of small details. But my little sister brought it to my attention, and I spoke to my mother about it. And this is where the problems really start to come at. Like, you went and saw a doctor. The doctor told you, yeah, this is happening, but they didn't give you any further insights about it. Soon as I saw it, I knew it was directly related to her blood pressure because of the previous issues that we had like a year ago up in North Florida when I came to see her, and I took her blood pressure reading there. And I immediately told her, like, Mom, this is your blood pressure, and these are the warning signs that are starting to pop up and display themselves in your overall health. You may be feeling good. You might be okay and not necessarily beat up and down and just, under chronic stress and all these other type of health issues, but your blood pressure is starting to have an effect on your overall health. And this floater that you're experiencing in your eye, this is a warning sign. So you really have to understand your body language and what your body is telling you. Even if you go see a doctor, they look in your eye, they see what's going on, and they say, oh no, this is that and the third, take this medication and you'll be okay. You have to be able to look deeper, because even though you may feel fine, your body is under a certain type of stress and your body is under certain types of stress, and it's starting to display itself. So in my opinion, looking at this issue that she was dealing with, this is a manifestation of severe issues coming from her uncontrolled blood pressure. And that reading that we just took now, 219/124, this is a sign that the blood pressure is out of control, and something needs to be done to manage it and deal with it immediately, because as it continues to manifest and continues to spiral out of control, things are only going to get worse. And the last thing I want is for my mother to be in a position where she has a stroke or she has a heart attack and she's taken away from me, my sister, or her grandchildren early because she wasn't being proactive about her health. My mother is 66 years old. She's 66 years old. And when you look at the death rate in our country right now, it's usually between, I think, 72 or 76. I think 72, 73 for men, 74, 76 for women. That's the average right there. But when you allow these type of issues to continue to manifest, you can find yourself cutting it a lot shorter than that. And it's really, really important that you start to be more active, more proactive with your health. Start doing the things that are necessary to get you back in alignment with more health promoting practices. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, my mother is someone that's always been health conscious. Like, even when I was little, I remember her giving me supplements and Flintstone vitamins and all kind of other things to kind of like just help me on my journey. You're talking like, 10, 12-year-old kid, just focusing on nutrition in different areas. So I know she has a foundation to understand health and wellness, but, taking responsibility for herself, improving on her lifestyle, this is going to be a commitment that she has to take upon for herself in order to get to where she needs to be. So this is why we're continuing to document this journey. That way you guys can see in real time the power of these lifestyle changes that I show up on your timeline and talk about each and every day. And again, the main thing is that I want you guys to get some direct insight of these things. So I want you to get some direct insight of these things. That way you can understand that this is a serious issue. Like, if I ask my mother right now, Mom, how you feel? What's going on? She's going to say, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I don't feel bad. I don't feel sick. I don't have a headache. I don't have nothing going on. And you have to understand that they call high blood pressure the silent killer for a reason. You don't have to feel bad for something to happen. You could feel perfectly fine. How many times we've seen somebody and then they just were looking good, seemingly feeling good, seeing them out in public, and then you heard that they had a stroke or they passed away, they had a heart attack or something happened to them. And you're like, well, dang, I just saw them. They look good. They look fine. We have to understand that when you let these issues go uncontrolled, the problems continue to manifest. Underlying problems start to manifest, and they turn into bigger issues that are a lot harder to come back from. It's a lot harder to bounce back from a stroke, but it's damn sure a lot easier to prevent it from happening by practicing some health promoting lifestyle, by practicing a health promoting lifestyle. So that's where you want to get. You want to get more in the forefront prevention instead of trying to reverse and correct these type of issues. So timing is very, very important. And right now, as I expressed to my mother previously, your clock is running out on your window to make changes, because even though you're not on any medications right now, the wind can blow in any direction for you. The wind blow this way and your health can start deteriorating, and boom, before you know it, the next 3 to 5 years of your life are totally in the garbage can because you didn't take control of the situation. But right now, this is our chance to push things in the right direction. That way she can continue to understand her overall health and build on that, because lifestyle changes does take a commitment. It takes the commitment to want to get better, because one of the biggest things that I see about people that want to get off of pharmaceutical medications and get control of their blood pressures, they're not necessarily ready to give up the things that's contributing to the problems that they have. Nobody wants to be on medication. Nobody wants to, be dealing with high blood pressure and diabetes and other chronic conditions. But if you want to get better, you have to be willing to make the changes that are in alignment for a health promoting lifestyle to correct these type of issues. So we took the blood pressure on this side. I want to take it again on the other side, but I don't think that's actually necessary at the moment. But what I do want her to do is she's going to get on the scale as well, because there's a few other things that we need to do. And she's going to get on we took her blood pressure. She's going to get on the scale. I'm going to check her blood sugar level. She's going to do a urine analysis. And I'm also going to order and get some blood work done for her. That way she can see exactly what's going on internally, because once you get the blood work done, you can get a better insight, a better look on what's happening, and understand any deficiencies that you're dealing with. Understand your ground level, because when you understand your ground level, now you can start working on correcting the issues and building the body back up to be in a position where you can control your blood pressure through normal measures. So I wanted to get on the scale now. That way we can continue to document this part of the process. And as she's getting on the scale, I want those of you that are following on Facebook to check out my excuse me. For those of you that are following on Facebook, I want you to check out my high blood pressure community. And this is the Healthy Eating Active Living community. In the Healthy Eating Active Living community, this is where you're going to be able to see all of the details and the information about what she's doing to correct this process. In the Healthy Eating Active Living community, when you click the link in my bio, you'll see this community, and this is going to show you the ins and out of this process. Because it's one thing for me to be on camera talking about how it's. I thought I put on. If you guys can still hear me, let me know. Just put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat. Just put something in the chat to let me know you guys can still hear me. My phone just rang, and I think it might have knocked me off. But I'm going to keep going. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. But when it comes down to making these lifestyle changes, I can sit and talk about these changes all day and put up short clips and videos about these types. I want you guys to actually be able to see these changes happening in real time. And where you'll be able to see this at is in the high blood pressure community. So if you click the link in my bio on my page, you'll see the high blood pressure community. Sign up for the blood pressure community, especially if you're dealing with blood pressure issues yourself. That way you can see how these lifestyle changes are applied and utilize and see the different strategies and apply them to your lifestyle. Because again, it's more than just eating better. Nutrition is just one part of the puzzle. This is a big whole puzzle of your overall health. Nutrition is one part. It's a pretty big part, but it's only one part. But you're talking about sunlight. You're talking about fresh air. You're talking about creativity. You're talking about utilizing all the tools that you've been given to actually promote health within yourself. Because even though nutrition is one factor that's really big, most people think that blood pressure is just part of their diet, a poor diet, and the things that they're consuming. And yes, that's true. But the reason most people fail at getting better control of their blood pressure, they're only looking at one or two things. Most people look at their exercise, the amount of exercise they're doing, or they're looking at their nutritional habits, but they're not focusing on their sleeping patterns. They're not focusing on their relationship. They're not focusing on, the aesthetics of life and things like that. You have to be able to put these things back together. And when I look at my mother's lifestyle from my view looking in, I can see that she's lacking in a lot of different areas that's contributing to what she's experiencing with her blood pressure. So now, as her personal coach, her personal blood pressure coach right now, it's my job. It's my job to actually draw this picture for her to understand what she's doing wrong and help her implement the tactics and strategies to correct it. So I definitely suggest that if you're dealing with these issues, click the link in my bio, join the high blood pressure community. That way you can understand the ins and outs of this process. For the next 45 days, we're going to be diving into her lifestyle. I'm going to be picking and plucking and pulling and pruning and twisting and squeezing and pulling everything out of her to help her understand what's going on. And it's going to be on display for you guys to see. Everything is going to be there. Her whole transition is going to be there step by step each and every day for the next 45 days. It's going to be on display. So for those of you out here that may be in my mother's shoes, she's 66 years old. She's dealing with chronic blood pressure issues, and she's going to get on the scale right now. That way we can document her weight as well. And again, I'm going to put her blood sugar, I'm going to put her other information up. That way you guys can see and understand how this process works. So go ahead and hop on the scale, mother. That way I can document this part of the process. And then I think the most important thing is that everyone that's viewing these things can come away with some value for it. Because again, at the end of the day, you want to be able to understand the process and understand what's going on. And that's the biggest part. You finished? Look, you good. That's cool. Take a picture for it. That way you could document it as well. You might have to get on again. The scale, I don't know if the scale lies. You know, the scale is a scale. The scale don't lie too often. But yeah, so we're going to be document 228.6. All right, so when you get off, take a picture of it. That way you can continue to put this on your inside of your journal. And as we continue week by week, we're going to make sure that we're continuously documenting this process. That way we're going to be able to see how the scale moves, how the blood pressure moves, how everything trends in the right direction while she's making these changes. Because one thing about lifestyle changes, it don't take 2 months, it don't take 3 weeks, it don't take all this time for changes to actually occur. With lifestyle changes, you start to see the benefits in 2 to 3 days. It's as simple as that. It doesn't take a whole month for something to happen. 2 or 3 days, you start seeing your digestion getting better. 2 or 3 days, 4 days, a week down the line, you start to see the scale move in different directions. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 pounds. You're talking 5, 6, 7 pounds a week after week after week. And I think the most important thing is that, even though weight loss is, something that most people like and enjoy and they love the benefits of, it's all about understanding how your body feels. Because when you start to feel better, now you're more inclined to continue to do better. Like imagine you get on the scale and all of a sudden after 7 days, you're down 6 pounds. That's highly motivating. Like, dang, if I do this again for another 7 days, I'm liable to be down 12 pounds in 2 weeks. That's a big shift. But the main thing about it is, how does your body feel internally? Like, do you see yourself with more energy? Are you sleeping better? What's your blood pressure reading now? All these factors come into play with building, resetting, and rebuilding your lifestyle to correct these type of issues. And one thing about lifestyle changes, they allow you to press that reset button when it comes down to correcting the health issues that you're dealing with. And this just isn't about, blood pressure, because lifestyle changes will help you improve your health as a whole. Because again, you're not just focusing on that blood pressure reading. You're not just focusing on one singular issue that the body's having. You're focusing on the body as a whole, a complete unit. Your body works as a whole. It all works together for one common goal, which is to be healthy and to maintain life. So when you focus on lifestyle changes, you put your whole body back into alignment. And that's what it's all about. Getting back into alignment, allowing your body to be in a position to heal and do the things that it needs to do and to overcome these issues. That's what lifestyle changes are all about. And those are the tactics and strategies that we're going to be implementing with her for the next 45 days. So these 45 days, again, they're going to be documented inside of my group, inside of my high blood pressure, inside of my healthy eating, active living group. You can click the link in my bio to join the group to get all the insights and the behind the scene infos about what we're doing and the strategies that we're applying. That way, as you're in your position at your home and you're trying to get better control of the blood pressure issues, you can get some direct insight and direct coaching through this same process. It's as simple as that. These same tactics and strategies that we're going to be implementing, these are the same tactics and strategies that I put inside of my book as well, the high blood pressure breakdown. These are all the same things. It's all about just understanding how to shift your mindset and get on course with the things that you need to do. Because every day I hear the same questions. How do I get off of blood pressure pills? How do I lower my blood pressure? You get off your blood pressure medication by changing the way you look at things, changing your mindset, and making a strategic approach to correct these type of issues. You're not going to fix the problem by still doing the same things that you're doing every day. There's no magic pill. There's no supplement. There's no cure that's going to come in a bottle and fall out of the sky. You have to actively be willing to make the adjustments that are unique to you, because everybody's blood pressure problem isn't the same. It's as simple as that. You have to understand what areas in your lifestyle are contributing to your blood pressure issues and work on improving those problems. One of my biggest issues that I mention all the time throughout the time I've been doing this was my stress levels and my nutritional habits. I fixed my nutritional habits. I lost 80 plus pounds. My blood pressure was still high because I still didn't get control of my stress levels. Once I got control of my stress levels and started managing things properly, that's when I started to see a difference in my overall health. So you have to understand what's contributing to your problem and be willing to put in the effort to actually fix it. So we got all the information and the documentation that we needed to do thus far as her blood pressure and the weight. I'm going to check her blood sugar levels. We're going to do a urine analysis, and we're going to order a few other things for her. But you guys can look forward to seeing all these things inside of the high blood pressure, the healthy eating, active living community. And I'm also going to be sharing consistently throughout my stories as well, because now for the next 45 days, I got my own personal client that I get to tune in day by day by day. And I've done this several times before, but I've never documented it to this point. And my mother blessed me with the ability to actually document her journey. And I'm going to be documenting it to the T. Each and everything that I do, everything that I say to her and coach her with, it's going to be on camera for you all to see. From the time we wake up in the morning to the time we go to bed, everything's going to be documented to the point where you're going to be able to see how these changes work. And the reason I chose 45 days for this process is because I know the power of lifestyle changes. I know that in the 45-day time frame, we're going to see some drastic changes to the point where it's going to be unbelievable. And that's why I decided to document it for you guys to see this. And that way, it motivates some of you guys out there to do these things, to apply these changes to your lifestyle. Because the beauty about lifestyle changes is this: they're all free. It don't cost us anything. Like, lifestyle changes is free. This is just the natural way you were designed to live. Getting fresh air, getting sunlight, staying hydrated. These are all natural measures. Once you learn them and be consistent with applying them, it's free to you to manage your stress, doing deep breathing exercises or practicing the meditation technique. Those are all free to you. You can do that in the comfort of your own home. It doesn't cost you any money, but it will require you to understand how to implement the practice and be consistent with this type of journey. Because one thing about lifestyle changes is this: these are all behavioral changes. And for many of us, we're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and we've been living this type of way for the last 30 to 60, 70 years. So it may be a little more harder to make these changes, but understanding that when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to make the changes. When you're in a position where you have to do something now, or it's going to cost you your life, you're going to be more willing to make these changes to improve your health. And this is what this community and these strategies are all about. So I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Again, this is day one of my mother's blood pressure intervention journey. I'm going to continue to document this path. For those of you that have questions about the healthy eating, active living community, I'm going to be active in my DMs right now. So if you DM me right now, message me on my page, or you communicate with me, I'm going to be active in there for at least the next hour or so, because I got a ton of other things to do. I'm going to be active in there right now. That way I can be able to answer any questions that you have about the community, about this journey that she's on, and about blood pressure in general. So with that being said, we're going to be checking out. You got any questions or anything you want to add to this, Mother?
No, I'm good.
With that being said, we're going to be checking out, and I look forward to seeing you guys again.